Some would say that Tien Shinhan is the strongest human in Dragon Ball. And of all the humans, I would say that he has stayed the most consistent with being a fighter. He may not be a top tier like he once was, but no matter the fight, he is always willing to show up for the battle. So, over every arc he's been in, how does he compare to the other human Z fighters? And does his fan-given title, the strongest human, still stand up to this day? Alright, his first arc is truly a masterclass of introductions. His first fight is when he nearly kills Nam, someone who gave Goku a pretty decent fight in the first tournament, and proceeds to just go on a rampage through the Turtle School, taking down Yamcha in one of the best fights in the series, at least in my opinion, fighting Master Roshi to a standstill and flat out beating Goku at the end of the tournament, making him a world champion. So was he the strongest human in the series at this point? I'd say so. He beat Yamcha fair and square. Krillin couldn't beat Goku, so I don't think he'd do much better against Tien. And on Roshi's side, Tien had several techniques left that he didn't use against Master Roshi. So had their fight gone on, I do think Tien would have eventually taken the win. So that makes him the strongest human in his very first arc.
Home sweet home! Not the jar!
Now, he once again is the strongest human here, but this time it's really just out of circumstance. Roshi was dead, Krillin was dead, and Yamcha's leg was still broken during this arc. I guess you could make an argument for Yajirobe, but I feel like he doesn't have enough in this arc to really push him above Tien, especially when it comes to Tien's large bag of techniques. Another generational performance by Tien this arc. He humiliates Tao Pai Pai and goes blow for blow with Goku while he had his weights on. Once again, his techniques made up for the gap in power when Goku removed his weights, but this time he did end up losing. But hey, out of the three humans, he fought the strongest fighter and had the best performance in this arc. So I'd say that pretty much makes him the strongest human for 3 arcs in a row now.
Tri-beam!
Now Tien suffers from an early loss in this arc. Besides Goku, he was the only one that went one-on-one against Nappa, and he took down a Cyberman by himself, though Vegeta did kill it early, saving Tien from suffering the same fate as Yamcha. So where does this place him with the other humans this time? Although I could just mark them off based off power levels, it's very clear at this point in the series that power levels are bullshit.
Power levels are bullshit!
So let's go off performance. Yamcha is the weakest only because he was the unlucky one that got sneaked by the Cybermen for the other's safety. And I would actually put Krillin above Tien. I think the new techniques Krillin created during the time skip would help bridge the gap between the two in terms of raw power. Now, sadly Tien was out of commission in the Namek Saga, so we don't have anything for him there besides filler, but he does have quite the comeback in the next arc.
Yeah? Well, you know what? Power levels! Super Saiyans! And you! Shin Piccolo!
Now, I don't think there's any Dragon Ball fan out here who doesn't love how raw Cell Saga Tien was. He held down semi-perfect Cell for 3 hours while the androids hid. Not to mention he held the Z Warriors against the Cell Juniors, which are said to be as strong as Cell himself, and overall, he's just really cool. Now, I would place him far above the other humans in this arc because I love Yamcha, but he got scrubbed off pretty early in this arc. And Krillin just got his ass beaten bad in this arc. Like, really bad. Now, just like the Demon King Piccolo saga, he is the strongest, but it's basically just by default, since all the other humans have retired from fighting, and his single feat of stopping a Ki Blast is the biggest feat out of any of them in this arc. This is one of the main reasons I love Tien so much. Even if he knows he's entirely outclassed, he will always pull up no matter what to help everyone. Now, he's in both of the movies, but he does little to nothing in Battle of Gods, and just like the rest of the supporting cast, he helps take out a large portion of the Frieza Force, so I can't really scale him off of just those few things, but I do appreciate the involvement he did have. Hype moments and aura is basically what got Tien fans through Super. Now in the manga and anime, Tien has two very different performances. In the manga, Frost just knocks him out, and that's all we get to see. But in the anime, he gets his own fight and everything. So it will be nice and grade his performance off that, since the other humans also got their best stuff in the anime. Besides Master Roshi, I like his manga stuff a bit more. So overall, I'd place him above Krillin, since Krillin did his best stuff when he was paired up with 18, which isn't anything bad, but when he was by himself, he was just doing far worse. However, I do think Master Roshi was doing the best out of any human out there in the manga and anime, so I'd give Tien a good second place, since Roshi took out several people in the anime and had a small exchange with Jiren in the manga.
I'm here for Chaozu. We need to train.
But Tien, the doctor said if your shoulders get any bigger...
That's why we don't see him anymore.
Alright, this is the last arc Tien had a real showing in, and it's not really his best. His main fight was him and Chaozu against a Tuntara, which is like the same species as the one Vegeta fought in the Universe 6 tournament. But besides that, he pops up a few times during the final fight, which honestly, I'm just happy he's just doing things. So overall, with the other humans, I would put him at third just due to the fact the others get him more screen time and highlights and just overall take out more people. But hey, when I'm 97 and the Moro arc finally gets animated, I'll probably nudge him up a bit. There you have it, my scaling for Tien in every arc he's in. He's always stayed at the top with the humans, and he's probably my second favorite human besides Yamcha. I hope we do get to see more of them in the coming arcs, even if it's just small fights here and there. But hey, I'm happy with what we got. Subscribe if you liked the video, and check out my other stuff if you got time. And I will see you all next time. Bye.